No, I'm not on mute.
Sorry, Ian, we could not hear you.
Sorry, it's okay. Yes, I can look at that. Is anyone else joining, or is it just me?
Ian, let me connect back. I couldn't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now at all? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? That's weird, isn't it?
Hi, Ian.
Hi, Kalpana. Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me?
I still couldn't hear you.
I can hear you fine, and I can see my little green. I believe I'm working okay. Hi, can you hear me now? Okay. Are you still there? I can hear you fine. If you can you hear me? Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Hi, can you hear me? Kalpana, can you hear me? Hi, Kalpana, can you hear me?
அடிச்சிட போறாரு. என்ன விளையாடிட்டு இருக்க இங்கேயும் அங்கேயும்? Cat, oh, thanks for joining.
Hi.
We just faced some network issues again, and hence rejoined. Hi,
okay.
Hi, Ian. Thanks for joining.
Same situation. I can't get onto Epic either today as well, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Sorry, Ian, we had some network issues. And hence
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good.
can go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, Kath. Is it just me and you from our end? I guess it is. Hi, Kath. Can you hear me, Kath?
Kath?
She's gone now. Maybe she's got epic issues again. Anyway, you can hear me okay, Kalpana, yeah?
Yes, Ian.
Oh, well, you're breaking up a little bit, actually.
How's it now?
Yeah, it's okay now, but
Okay.
then you were just dropping a few words earlier, so that makes life a bit difficult. Anyway, I'm sharing a spreadsheet with you.
Okay. Okay, Ian.
What this shows is, I read through the email thread while I was away and saw that you were asking what the test plan was and what was actually being done. I think Kath replied that, the actual test plan wasn't really looked at the moment because we're having more fundamental issues with the RTEN feed. Is that what you want to actually discuss in today's meeting?
Yes, Ian. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what this spreadsheet is a list of all the actions, the SOAP actions that are going to be sent from View and the corresponding line, if you like, from SRW implementation. So I don't know if you're seeing it on your screen. I don't know if you want me to share it. Actually, I can share it as well. Screen one, there we go. You see on this side, I've got what was implemented in SRW, and then what would the corresponding thing that was being sent from View implementation, just so that we could marry up all the different types of events that would be sent across, and then we could actually test them. So this column here, active, was actually we came up with, although all of these have been implemented in SRW, only the ones with a tick are actually active and going to be sent from View by View. Okay?
Okay.
So I've written here service endpoint. I haven't put the full path because we'd have to ascertain that the path was actually working. So this is just effectively the last part of the URI. So if you've read the documentation and seen what was happening, there are 4 different service endpoints: the RTE result notification service, the RTD candidate notification service, the RTD product notification service, and the RTE ping service. Is this, does everybody agree with that? Do you know that already, or do you need any more details on that?
Yes, we are aware of it.
Perfect, good. So what the SRW implementation then got SOAP actions, and within each notification, within each endpoint, you can do some different actions or processes. And these were implemented: result, place, release, modify, revoke, unrevoke result. But from the result, only a result notification was sent. And this was successfully sent. So a result notification was sent across. There's a caveat to that in a minute, but what we did notice was that the candidate notification was causing an error every time. And the reason it was causing an error was because SRW was implemented to receive a SOAP action of modify candidate, but View was sending across a record with the SOAP action as modify candidate notification. That's the word notification. This took quite a while to find out that this was the issue, as I'm sure you can imagine. There are a couple of example events that were sent across, but the SOAP action is one of the headers, and it wasn't immediately clear that the SOAP action needed to be there. I haven't read anywhere in the documentation that says modify candidate must be in the SOAP action, but it must be somewhere. But I think it might also be in the SOAP envelope. But the SOAP implementation requires it to be in the SOAP action. So there's a temporary fix in place because we got Apogee to say, if the SOAP action is modify candidate notification, modify it and change it to modify candidate. Similarly, merge candidates was coming across with merge candidates notification in the SOAP action. When these were changed with the temporary fix in Apogee, Vue were successfully sending records across. Okay, so they were actually getting a 200 success. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry to interrupt, Ian. So, can you please show us the demo of this issue? That would,
I can't really show you a live demo because it takes a lot of. I can't send you the Vue record here, but what I can do is just look for a candidate notification.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Let's look. Event. Nope, not that one. Hold on. Here we go. So Vue sent this as an example notification. I can share it, but just bear in mind this is live data. So, it's obviously got to be treated as personal information. This is a real user. The header here, you can see SOAP action equals modify candidate notification when calling the RTE candidate notification service.
Okay, so actually it has to be modify candidate, right? Instead of modify candidate.
I can go even further with this, and if I come into, hold on a second. Oh, there it is. If we go to RTEN, I guess it's in controller. If I go to the candidate
Maybe it
service.
is in base controller, yeah.
Sorry?
I think it is in base controller.
I think it's in here, actually. I think this route here determines the routes that are available. So I believe the fix is as simple as changing that to modify candidate notification. Just confirm that route actually does route to the SOAP action header.
Yeah.
And then I could modify some of the tests as well, I suppose, to verify that it receives it correctly.
Okay.
So actually a very simple problem, but was very, very difficult to resolve, or at least very, very difficult to identify. So I can share. Kalpana, what I'll do is I will.
Yes, Ian.
I'll just share this this file. Candidate create. There it is. If I copy that, I can just paste it straight into the chat. It's probably the easiest. Ah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Doesn't it?
Okay.
Okay, never mind. I'll send it to you anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, I can send that outside of. Oh, actually, I can probably just forward it straight from Joe. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So you now have that. So if I come back to here, it was these two were both a problem. We've since found that the sold product has successfully come across. So the action is correct for this one.
Okay.
Alexandra today, I think you're on the thread, are you? Has reported that although it came in successfully, it then failed because there wasn't a corresponding result for the product to go to.
We are not
The
in.
product notification service has an ID that says this now allows, it says this user is sharing this result. So there is a foreign key, there's an ID in here that refers to a result. Because on the test record that was sent across, there wasn't a product, there wasn't a result with that ID, I believe that SRW rejected it. I don't know if you've actually written that one down as an issue. You've probably not. That was only, I literally found that out today from that email from Alexandra.
Can we just pause a minute and talk about
Yeah.
that? Because I'm trying to understand it.
Definitely.
So, product sold is a really bad term, isn't it? But it's because we use this odd e-commerce site almost as a way of candidates allocating their score. So the product ID is the allocation, right? So product is allocation. If I allocate my score to an institution, I get a product ID. Is that what comes through? Question, Ian?
I haven't seen a product notification record. Yeah.
Ah, Joe shared one by email.
Did he
Did you
share
see
a
that?
product notification? Yeah. Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just bring it up?
Yeah. Please do.
It's just, honestly, I am really struggling to understand what's going on. So, hang on a second.
Yeah, if you can share that one, then I've already shared the candidate, an example candidate. There will also be them in the but it's good to get those. You're right.
Yeah, it was in the thread where he said it had been successful. He attached some screenshots, and that's where I was scanning those, trying to see if there was a registration ID or.
I've actually found it, Kath.
Oh, great, thank you, because I just am
I'll
illiterate with Google Mail.
share
it
my
seems
screen again.
Perfect. And I think there's a product ID or something.
So here now is the SOAP action sold product.
Sold product, okay.
So the product ID is 11796.
Yes. And then what other IDs can we see here? Is that all?
Well, it says it's the ASR recipient.
God knows what that is.
D1C N224, which I believe what that means is this score report is being shared with this institution.
That's the code, isn't it? Yeah, that's the code. It's actually the code department in the program, probably, because it's a 3-part code.
Yeah, but to all intents and purposes, it identifies the department or institution that can view it, doesn't it?
Yes, and can I see, because it's really tiny on screen, but can I see view candidate ID? Is that just up on, that's better. A little bit more, a little bit more. Oh, so many. Okay. So is that, what is that? I view product sold ID, which looks a lot like a candidate ID. But there's nothing to
Oh, I see
how do
what
we
you
get,
mean. Yes, you're right. It
so
might
I
be
mean,
the product sold.
what I'm trying to figure out, where, how does one identify the candidate who sent this?
Well, you don't have to identify the candidate because, of course, the product that's been sold, which was this, is the candidate's product. So you would have to go through that record to find out, because we're not really
Okay.
interested, are we? What we really need is an entity relationship diagram here now to view this.
Yes,
I was just
urgently.
looking at the
Yeah.
documentation.
Yeah.
I was just going to go to the SRW manifesto and look at the data diagram.
Yeah, it'd be great. So the product sold ID is actually, in the way that registration ID is test and candidate, the product sold ID is allocation and candidate.
Yeah.
It's the allocation unique to that candidate. Oh, that makes more sense, because I couldn't figure out how we knew which candidate sent it.
Yeah, well, of course, we don't know which candidate. All we know is the report. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this is a bit I'm trying to get my head around, I think.
Well, if we were to draw it out, we would be able to see it quite easily. I mean, unfortunately, I can't see a data diagram unless there
I
is
can ask
one.
Yeah, I can
Unless
ask
there is
Ola if
one
there's
in
one.
here. Let's have a look. You still see my screen. Oh no, that's not the one. I can't know. Of course, I'm thinking of I don't think we've got a data diagram for this, which we must have.
God, we really need one, don't we? We've got the components diagram, which is not really
we've
the
got a
one we
component. We
need.
just haven't got the data one. And it's of course made more complicated because the names are not actually the same as what's in the data.
Right. Okay.
So here's some real data. So diagrams.
Because I think what I am struggling with is how it all fits together. So we get results notification, we get candidate notification, and we get product notifications.
Yeah.
And how that all fits and what all of the different IDs mean.
I think
that's the thing that we need to draw out.
Yeah, and it's actually quite simple to do, isn't it? That's easy said though, but we can probably do it quite simply.
Yeah, I'll ask Ola if she's got one already that we're not finding.
Yeah, because we've simply got 3 types of records, haven't we? We've got candidates, results, and I'm going to call them products.
Yeah.
And a candidate, we have a candidate ID. This we have is it result ID? No, what do we call this? Registration ID.
Yes, that's for the results for a specific exam that the candidate's taken.
That's right. And so for this, we have.
I think View called it an appointment ID actually, but yeah, registration ID.
Okay, and so here we now have an ID, which is this will be a product ID, but then we will also have and I'll call it I'll call it registration ID for now. But effectively, that links to that. I've probably got it the wrong way around. And then this will have a candidate ID in it, which ineffectively links to that. And then this is the, and I'm calling it the institution for now. Yeah, institution. So what we're seeing on that record is, well, one of those, we know the institution, we saw that example, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the registration ID, or the equivalent of the registration ID, links through to the result. And that then links through to the candidate. I've got these the wrong way around, by the way. These links, I'm going to rub them out and do them again for that exact reason.
So why can't I see the registration ID in the product payload? Or maybe I'm not looking.
Let's go back.
Because I really feel like I can't see it.
Well, I think it must be this.
But if it was that, and I tried searching under these because I thought they looked remarkably like the registration IDs. I didn't turn up any results, but there might be another reason for that.
And I think that's exactly why Alexandra said there was a problem. Yeah, because this here is the product sold ID. Therefore, it needs a corresponding result with that ID. And without it, it failed. So this failed to get imported because of this relationship and this business rule that was being enforced, which says you can't have a product sold if you haven't got a product.
Right.
So effectively, we're trying to drop this record in, and it does an integrity check to see if there is a corresponding result. I did actually have a little look through the code this morning to see if I could find it. I couldn't find it.
That's why she was asking. Okay, that makes sense. That's why she was asking me whether we would likely get products after results.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the logic is yes, we would, because the candidate gets the results and then they allocate them. So it should happen. Like the business rule should be fine. It should work, but it's probably due to the way that Joe's been sending us the data because we were getting it in a really disaggregated way, I suppose.
But it's actually a pointless business rule. It's not needed.
It's true. Yeah. Why would we impose it if
so I would argue from a sort of a purist point of view, we should not implement rules that are not necessary because they will just cause us problems in unexpected scenarios, which is now.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this isn't unusual in that we're getting things in dribs and drabs. But yes, I agree with you. If it doesn't,
is unusual,
if there's no reason to have the rule.
Yeah.
Because,
even more so because, of course, what somebody will say as well, it's a technology problem now, and we don't want that. We don't want we don't want to create something that causes problems.
Okay, that makes more sense now. That explains why I couldn't retrieve a report.
Yeah, I believe that's what she was saying. I'll
go back. I haven't read her email in depth, but I'll go back and read it. But
let's go back to her email then and just read it, Alexandra. So
also, Kalpana, have you been able to retrieve all of the RTEN? Because we should have examples of every different kind of RTEN notification with the data that comes across. Have you been able to retrieve those from the folder? Because I was looking and all I can see is I can't see the ones that are specific to results, candidates, and product.
Okay, Vinod, did you find any document related to that?
It's the example payload, I think. Well, it's probably the wrong term. It's an example of the data that comes across with each kind of notification. And I remember looking at each of them: the results one, the candidate information one, and the product. And appointments was another one that we don't actually currently use. But I now can't see those in the shared folder. So I'll go and have a look again and see if they're there, because that also explains the data that comes through, and it also explains what view calls that data, which is often different to what we call it.
Okay, Kath, we will also check from our end.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll jump into that folder again. Okay. I will go and read Ola's email in a bit more detail.
I've just read
it's another change that we need to make, right?
Yeah, I've just read it, Kath, and I think that's exactly what she's saying.
Yeah.
It is worth confirming. I've just shared this document.
Brilliant.
I think
Thank you.
what we should actually do is enhance this with all the different versions of what people call stuff.
Yeah.
For
Because I'm
instance, we
pretty
can
sure
replace it
you
with
call it the
this,
appointment ID.
and we can call it what comes in the SOAP, what View call it, and what SRW call it. There you go. We can replace each one with one of these.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to locate those.
I'll do that, and I
RTEN
might make
specs.
those. Yeah.
All I can find is the same file copied over and over and over and over again. It's really, really strange, and they do exist because I remember looking at them months ago. And it's a kind of the spec of each kind of RTEN notification. So it gives a kind of concise example of what comes through.
Yeah. Is this the PDF from the PDF
Yeah, they
file
were
from
PDFs. They were saved as PDFs.
Yeah. No, I've got them all.
Have you?
Joe sent them all. Yeah, and I think they're in this in the manifesto document.
I'm just clearly looking in the wrong place. So I'll go and have a look at those again, and then because we need to gloss those terms as well.
Yeah.
Have you shared that, Ian?
This diagram, I put it in the
perfect.
I put it in the link in the chat.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know. It's obviously not perfect at the moment, and but we should perhaps use this to keep track of everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe even asking. Just Kath, I just want to highlight another thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, my question about are there any other business rules was sort of because I sort of had a hunch that, well, if products can't be entered if there isn't a result, it's highly likely that a result won't be entered if there isn't a candidate.
Yeah, and the thing is, as well, I didn't even know that business rule was in place. So I think it's trying to uncover what rules are in place and who made the decisions. I'm pretty sure I wasn't aware of that one. So I'll see if they're documented somewhere.
I don't know if we can. What we need to do is look through the code, and I think we just need to be very. I think it's very clear that we can't be in control of which order they come.
No.
So we should perhaps put a story in to just say, remove anything.
Any unwanted business rules.
Don't rely on those business rules. It has a few sort of unfortunate side effects that we've proved, and we can put them in a JIRA ticket if you want. One, not least being that we accept the record as valid from View, and then we reject it. So there's no way of knowing that it's been rejected.
Okay. I'll set up a ticket now.
Yeah, if you can.
But
no
problem. I'll copy you to it as well, so you can always add some more detail if you want to.
While the guys are on the call now, it may have a knock-on effect to the user interface, because if the system believes there is always this data integrity, then it may assume that business logic. And if we take it out, then the UX perhaps or the APIs can't assume it and would have to handle the errors nicely.
Yeah, okay.
But we can put all that in the same story.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Probably the safest way, I think.
All right. Yep, I'll set that ticket up now. Okay. So actually, Ian, would you be able to post this on Slack if you haven't already, and then ask Ola to take a look at it too, and then I will also, and it sounds like this diagram. Oh
right, okay, yeah. Well, I think we just need to update it a little bit more because we haven't really got the names right, have we?
Okay.
I can put it on.
I thought it might be useful for Ola to have a look at it, but we'll just share it with her, I guess.
We can put it on there. We can put a link on it, no problem. Before we go though, Kath, I'm just aware that the team in India have been very quiet. I just want to make sure that they understood all that or have any questions on it.
Yeah. And sorry, guys, I'm afraid I hijacked that a bit because I was just trying to understand what was happening.
So Ian, I have one query. Actually, is it possible for us to, test the changes in dev environment? That is, if we change the respective route name and if we deploy the changes in dev environment, so will it possible for us to test it in dev environment?
We can't do any live testing in the dev environment because there is no direct integration with Vue to send any of these in. But you can, if you put it in the dev environment, you can certainly do it via the Postman interface that Ola was talking about, or even directly go into Apogee and make the call through the Apogee URL as well. Make the call to the Apogee test one. What we can't do is just get the Vue to send the record. Do you understand that? Did that make sense?
Yeah. So
you can actually test it in a development environment by just calling the URL endpoint. What you just can't test is the whole end-to-end integration in development environment.
okay. Try to.
I think it's a relatively easy change though, isn't it? And you would certainly be able to test it even on your own local environment to make sure, okay, previously notification failed and now it succeeds.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
And that was for the SOAP action events. If you have any questions on that, please do ask me. I say it's relatively straightforward. It's probably because we spent a lot of time working on it and looking at it.
Okay. Yeah.
If you have any questions regarding this data relationships, I mean, we've just drawn this out while we're on the call today, but do you have any questions about that or any thoughts on what we've just talked about?
No, yeah, you're good.
That was good. Okay, brilliant. That's really great to hear.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Jan, for sharing the details.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.